It's an absolutely bonkers day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has screwed up in a major way, which has led to a massive leak of the upcoming Final Fantasy set way ahead of schedule. And some of these cards are absolutely amazing.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we are in for a treat-filled installment of Mega Magic News. This is the Ultra Final Fantasy Leak Edition. Wizards of the Coast is scrambling right now trying to retrieve the starter kits for the Final Fantasy set that's coming out a couple months from now. They accidentally sent them out in Brazil. A distributor, it looks like, is the one who messed up, and these ended up in the hands of actual Magic players already. So they're trying to get them back, but obviously in the meantime, the cards have been released. Now, I'm getting ready to go away for a few days, so I really was scrambling myself to get this whole video put together in time. So we're going to go through an absolutely mind-blowing amount of spoilers. Now, a bit of a warning, some of the images are pretty rough. When it comes to the leaks, you get some grainy images, and because I'm pressed for time, we are going to be going turbo, rapid fire, rough and ready edition on this. So the cards aren't in English. I'm going to have the images up on the screen. I'm going to read out everything about the card. We're not going to spend as much time diving into the flavor and everything else as normal because ultimately the truth is I don't have enough time for that. We'll do more of that when I get back. So let's dive in and take a look at the spoilers for both decks. We're starting off our Blurry Leak speed run with Rosa Steadfast White Mage. 1 white and 3 for a 2/3 legendary noble human cleric. She's got reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. So gain some life, grow your dudes. She can block flyers. Not too shabby, but also not too powerful. Then we got Beatrix, Loyal General. 2 white and 4 gets you a 4/4 legendary human soldier. She's got Vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach any number of equipments to target creature you control. Obviously, an amazing ability that will let you beef up your dudes. Very satisfying. Then we've got Lightning Security Sergeant. 1 red and 2 for a 2/3 legendary human soldier. She's got Menace. Whenever Lightning deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card as long as you control Lightning. So obviously good if you're playing red and you need to replenish your ability to cast spells because red does go through things pretty quickly. After that, we got Raise a Judgment. A red and 3 for an instant. It deals 5 damage to target creature and X damage to its controller, where X is the number of equipment you control. So very clearly this deck has a heavy equipment theme. This is useful removal that will also slap your opponent for a little bit of damage. Nothing to complain about there. And speaking of equipment, after that, we've got the Ultima Weapon. 7 cost legendary artifact. Equips for 7. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature. Oh, and by the way, it also gives the equipped creature +7/+7. It certainly does feel like Ultima Weapon level, right? Ultima Weapon is not just a weapon in the game, but also gigantic beasts like in Final Fantasy VI. So super satisfying equipment. You're going to have fun attaching that for free with the general we saw earlier. Then we've got a familiar face, Adalbert Steiner. 1 white and 1, legendary human knight. He's 2/1 with lifelink. He gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. So pretty run-of-the-mill, average, uncommon, but obviously is loving the equipment vibe. It's pretty decent for 2 mana. Then we've got Cloud Moogle. This is flying. Whenever this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's got plane cycling for 2. It's 2 white and 3 for a 2/3. So ultimately, this one's not really that hot, but ultimately it will let you go ahead and grab a land when you need it, and it is a little dude to flesh out the deck, because the beginner decks don't tend to have the most insane cards in them. Then we've got Quarrel, which is a white and 1. It's a cat beast. 1 white and tap it. Tap target non-enchantment creature. So you can use this to get your opponent's blockers out of the way. It is a very run-of-the-mill card. Nothing really exciting happening here. Then we've got Dwarven Castle Guard. 1 white and 1, Dwarf Soldier. When this creature dies, create a colorless 1/1 hero creature, and this is a 2/1. So you look at it and go, yeah, all right. I mean, a 2/1 for 2 that also gives you a 1/1 afterwards. Not too shabby. If you went back in Magic's past, this would feel like a lot more powerful, but in the current era, it's really not that big a deal. Then we've got Sun Crystal's Fate, which is 1 white and 4. It's an instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature. Destroy target non-land permanent. So for 5 mana, you can get rid of anything that's not a land, and for 3 mana, you can get rid of a tapped creature. And you can do that at instant speed, so it's a nice little combat trick. Then we've got White Auracite. Wait a minute, this isn't right. That's Blade of Light. Sorry, we're rushing through this because there is a ton to cover. So this is Blade of Light. 1 white and 1. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures and equipment you control to target creature. So in some cases, you're going to sit there with this as a dead card in your hand. If you don't have any creatures or equipment out, it's useless. But if you have 2 creatures, a piece of equipment out, then 2 mana, you're getting to do 3 damage to a target, and all of a sudden, it's working pretty much like red burn, but more conditional, which is how white operates in Magic. Then we've got White Auracite. 2 white and 2 artifact. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. And it also taps for a white mana. So you get to banish one of their guys for as long as you have it, and you get access to mana. So, I mean, at 4 mana, it's okay. It's nothing to write home to mother about. Then we got White Mage's Rod. I feel like that translation is, that is a very, well, let's not even get into that. 1 white and 1 artifact equipment. Choose a job. When this equipment enters, create a colorless 1/1 hero token and attach this to it. Equip 3. The equipped creature gets +1/+1 and gains, whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life and is a cleric in addition to its other types. So, Choose a Job is a new mechanic from Final Fantasy, and how it works is it makes a 1/1 hero, automatically equips the equipment to it, and then turns around and says, okay, it's actually a hero cleric, it's going to be a 2/2, and whenever it attacks, you gain a life. So ultimately, I do like this whole job switching concept. That is something that is very Final Fantasy. Then we've got the Chosen of the Crystal. 2 white and 5 sorcery. Create 4 1/1 colorless hero tokens. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That is a steep casting cost, but it does boost all your guys. It does create 4 heroes, which has a very distinct Final Fantasy feel, especially from the very first game where you create your party of 4 heroes, right? Then we got Dragon Spear. 1 white and 1 artifact equipment. Choose a job. Equip 4. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. During your turn, equipped creature gets flying. So I think this might actually be Dragoon Spear, because you have the whole Dragoon ability where your guy leaps up into the air, is gone for a considerable amount of time, and then comes raining down on the enemy creatures. So ultimately, I don't know, when it came to that ability, sometimes it felt like they were up in the air too long, but it also meant they couldn't be attacked. So it's a mixed bag. It's got the vibe. I guess given the creature flying is the closest thing they could think of to make this work. Then we have Graha Tia, 1 white and 4 for a legendary cat archer who's 3/5. Reach. Whenever 1 or more creatures or artifacts you control are put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. This ability only triggers once a turn. So it would be bonkers if it actually triggered more than once. But if you lose one of your little hero tokens or something like that, somebody smashes your equipment, you're going to get a card to replace it, which ain't too shabby. Then we've got Item Merchant. A red and 1. Whenever you attack, target attacking equipped creature gets menace until end of turn. Meh. I mean, how does that work, really? Here you go. I sold you a bag of berries, or I sold you a sword. Now you're terrifying. Meh, flavor on that one's kind of weak. After that, we got Warrior's Blade. A red and 3 artifact equipment, choose a job, equip 5, equipped creature gets +3/+2, and is a warrior in addition to its other types. Well, that actually is a beefy token. So a 4/3 warrior. Ultimately doesn't have any other abilities, so it is just a vanilla, can get chumped, but you are getting that on top of the equipment, and you do have the ability to move the equipment around with that general that we saw earlier. So not the worst, not the best. Then we've got, the star of the entire episode, Suplex. This is what everybody wanted to know. Are we going to get a reference to Sabin suplexing the ghost train, which is one of the most absurd moments in Final Fantasy history? And yes, we are. You can see him charging towards the train. This is awesome. 1 red and 1 sorcery. Choose one. It deals 3 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile instead. Or exile target artifact. So a pretty standard red set of abilities. But this is my absolute favorite card out of all the leaks that we're going to look at today. It's so good. Okay. Then we've got Freja Crescent, which is 1 red for a 1/1 legendary rat knight. During your turn, this creature has flying. Tap to add a red, but you can only use this mana to cast equipment or activate abilities of equipment. Not too shabby in an equipment-focused deck, right? And you don't really find rat knights that frequently in Magic, which makes this character feel even more unique. Tons of legendaries if you want to build commander decks around him. Then we've got the Samurai Katana. 1 red and 2, artifact equipment, choose a job, equip 5, equipped creature gets +2/+2, has trample and haste, and is a samurai in addition to its other types. I don't really know why samurais would have trample, but they have to find a way to differentiate it from warriors, so this is the way that they went. This is another one of those, it's alright pieces of equipment. And the last card from the first deck is Barrett Wallace, Mr. Jigo Gunarm. And he is 1 red and 3, legendary human rebel. He's got reach. Whenever he attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending players. So it's all right. 4 mana, 4/4. He gets to go, but it doesn't really do that much damage unless you have a ton of equipped creatures. Ultimately, feels a little underwhelming for such a big character, but what are you going to do? They have, 16, 15 different Final Fantasy games they need to cover, and not everybody's going to be an all-star. Now, let's move on to the second deck. The leak gods have blessed us a little more. The images for the second deck aren't quite as rough. Some of them look pretty decent, actually. So, starting out with Ultimecia, Menace of Time. 2 blue and 4, legendary creature, human warlock. Whenever this creature enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, draw a card. I love that ability. Originally, that was on the old school Piracy enchantment. Whenever you hit your opponent, draw a card, feels so solid. You're already rewarded by moving towards your victory condition, and now you're getting to boost your card draw as well. So, very solid indeed. Then we've got Seymour Flux, a black and 4 for a legendary spirit avatar. He's 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Seymour. A very solid option. You can continue to draw cards a la Phyrexian Arena and lose life while also growing this gigantic beat stick right here. So definitely down with that. After that, we've got Deadly Embrace. 2 black and 3 sorcery. Destroy target creature an opponent controls. Then draw a card for each creature that died this turn. The fact that it's a sorcery really does limit its impact in terms of card draw. Obviously, you want to either have something set up where you're going to cast a ton of spells and wipe out a bunch of their creatures, or you're going to want to wait until after combat, play it, get rid of the best creature that's left over after combat, and then draw for all the creatures that died on either side of the battle. So this could actually be a great way to refill your hand, but the sorcery speed of it really does limit it. Then we've got Zandi Dark Mage, who is black, a blue, and 2, legendary human sorcerer with menace, and gets +1/+1 for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard. So, I mean, starting with a 3/3 base could actually be a gigantic beater as well, and the more things that hit the graveyard, the larger it's gonna grow. So, that's all right. Again, these are starter deck cards, right? So how much of a power level are they really going to give them? Then we've got Magitech Scythe. 4-cost artifact equipment. When it enters, you may attach it to target creature you control. If you do, that creature gains first strike until end of turn and must be blocked this turn if able. And then it's got equip to, equipped creature gets +2/+1. So the first turn when you put it out, you're literally going to get to equip it for free, which isn't too shabby. And first strike along with must be blocked equals you can probably force some very unfortunate situations for your opponent. So if you have a ton of mana, this plus Deadly Embrace, not too shabby, right? Because you do get to force that block. Then we've got Sagahuin, however you pronounce that one. 1 blue and 1, Merfolk Warrior. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it can't be blocked this turn. So, pretty underwhelming overall, but in the context of the 2 starter decks, it could be a decent way to poke through with some damage. And on top of that, if you have equipment on it, then you're going to get a little more value out of that. So ultimately, a decent card, but specifically only in the context of the starter decks. Then we've got Fairy of Ilmeg, 1 blue and 1. It is a 2/1 flying fairy, and whenever it attacks, surveil 1. Honestly, this feels like something straight out of Lorwyn, doesn't it? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, not too shabby. Then we got Go for the Esper, a blue and 3, create a 3/3 blue robot artifact creature token. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on that token, and it flashes back for 6. So this is representing that beginning sequence from Final Fantasy VI that really sets the whole tone for the game. And I gotta say, I'm a massive fan of Final Fantasy VI. So this is sweet to see depicted in a card. This set looks like it's gonna be baller, honestly. Then we've got, after that, Laguna's Dreams. 1 blue and 1 instant, scry 1, draw a card, and then it flashbacks for a blue and 3. I mean, whatever. Ultimately, it's a little bit of card draw. I find it to be really unexciting. So, moving on, we've got Realms Drawings, which is 2 blue and 2 sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. And this is sweet. Realm is from Final Fantasy VI, and she uses her paint skill to emulate things. So seeing that represented here in a magic ability, where you can basically make a token that's either an artifact, creature, or land, really does feel fitting flavor-wise, and the artwork has a fun vibe to it. I'm glad this one came through so clearly. That first deck was really, really gritty looking. Okay, next up, Aqueduct Rat. A black and 1 for a creature that's 2/2. When it dies, create a treasure token. So I guess the idea is you're hunting rats in the sewers and you get paid to do so. Not 100% on that. That is a pretty intense rat, considering that the hero tokens they make are 1/1s, and this rat all by itself is 2/2. So maybe it's supposed to be 2/2 because there's actually 2 of them in the artwork. But either way, a real threat for a low-level hero to have to deal with. Then we've got Shinra's Reinforcements. 1 black and 2 for a human soldier. When it enters, mill 3 cards and gain 3 life. It's fine. It's nothing super exciting. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Whatever. Then we've got Sephiroth's Intervention. 1 black and 3 instant. Destroy target creature. You gain 2 life. I mean, definitely coming down from above. Oh, yo, is this the scene? Is this the scene from Final Fantasy VII where he just comes down with the blade and it's so tragic, and then you realize at the end, oh, she saw it coming all along, and you just wish you could undo it, man? That's what's going on here, isn't it? Oh, bro. Well, I mean, we can't see the bottom of the card where it tells us what set it's what game it's from. But that pretty much has to be the one. That's the one where he's the main character. Unless there's another game where he shows up and there's a moment like this. This is another iconic moment in Final Fantasy history that it is dope to see depicted on a card. I can't wait to see more of this set. After that, we have a Walking Cleth. This is a black and 2 for a mutant horror. It enters tapped. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return this creature from your graveyard to your hand. So this is obviously something that can keep coming back over and over and over, and you can get a lot of value out of that, honestly, right? So if you have any kind of sacrifice abilities, you could use this in a number of different ways. From what we've seen from the deck, it doesn't seem like it has too much versatility aside just from straight up just swing in with it, do whatever, and then if it hits the graveyard, cast a spell and get it back to your hand, right? But not too shabby. Then we've got, if you love ridiculous numbers, we've got Exterminate. Extermination, I should say. 1 black and 2 instant. Target creature gets -0, -9,999, which is a fun counterpoint to the whole Jumbo Cactuar getting plus 9,999 power. So we got one that adds that much power. We've got one that minuses that much toughness. It's just such an obtuse number. It may as well just say destroy target creature. But why not just make the biggest, dumbest numbers we've ever seen in Magic? On one hand, it's ridiculous and uncalled for, and on the other hand, it's hilarious because I love big, dumb nonsense. So for me, it works, right? Then we've got the Return of Evil. 1 black and 4 sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So this is essentially a card that we've already seen in white, where there's a card that basically brings a creature back from your graveyard and puts 2 +1/+1s on it. Although that might be an instant, and this is a sorcery, right? But ultimately, I mean, it makes sense for Final Fantasy. The evil has returned. You must face me again, and I'm stronger. This isn't even my final form kind of vibe, right? So that's the entirety of the 2 decks. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that breakneck rip through both of the Final Fantasy leaked decks. Pretty wild to have that happening during the Dragonstorm pre-release weekend. Now, it even might be happening right now while you're watching this video. I am live over on my other channel doing a silly stream where we're going to be cracking boosters, trying snacks that I picked up in America, and ultimately having a good time. So if you want to talk about these Final Fantasy spoilers, you can do that down in the comment section. You can come by and check out that live stream. But like I said, I'm super pressed for time, so I gotta go. Thanks for coming by and hearing what I have to say. Big shout out to my patrons. You guys rule. And I will see you all for the next video when I get back.